Hello, welcome to the Global Peace Women, Our Family Stories podcast. At least that's what we're calling it now. We're excited to try this out with all of you. This is our pilot attempt, so we'll grow with it, and we invite you to grow with us. The idea is simple. Our families are an important part of our lives. I'm sure we've experienced this almost on a daily basis. Sometimes even the smallest moments can show us the world. Since 2016, Global Peace Women has been curating family stories from around the world. And there's some pretty moving stories about the incredible power and inspiration that comes from the relationships within the family. These stories reaffirm in me the point in GPW's vision that peace begins in the home, and that family is really the school of love and the cornerstone of a peaceful world. Of course, big disclaimer, that's not to say that every moment is lovely and rosy. In fact, some of the stories we'll share are not of those rosy moments because that's part of life. I think last year at the Global Peace Convention, our chairwoman, Dr. Johnson Moon, said it nicely. When times are good, it's when we thrive and share happiness with loved ones in the family. When times are hard, our families can be the place where we offer support, draw strength from each other. And through every season of life, I believe the family can be an enduring source of gratitude, service, and love. So true. Family forms the bedrock, not only of our own lives, but if we think about it, our communities and our world. So in this small circle right now, it's just the three of us. We want to share some of those stories that we've come through across in Global Peace Women's Family Story Campaign. And as we share these stories, I'm sure that they will stir similar experiences from our own family lives, of the good times and the bad times. And in that sharing, like the age-old customs of storytelling, we hope to pass down wisdoms and time-tested truths. We hope to capture and share important lessons for each of us. And we're excited to do some of the unpacking with this group. So I hope that we can have have others join this little circle as guests and hope to hear their stories as well. So without further ado, I want to have each of us introduce each other. So I'll introduce myself first, and then we'll move from my screen. I see Shraddha first, and then we'll do Anu. So I'm Hanako. I am a mom of 4. My eldest is 14. He just started high school. I guess that would be secondary school in Nepal. And my youngest is 4. So that's a wide gap. We have a very lively household, and I have 3 boys and 1 girl. I work at Global Peace Women as the Director of Organizational Development, and I love stories. So I think I'm in the perfect place. All right, Shraddha, your go.
Hello, my name is Shraddha. I'm not a mom, I'm a daughter. I'm also the oldest sibling and an older sister. And like Hanako's daughter, I'm also the daughter that helps out around the house. And I basically lead my family as the most fluent English speaker and most native to America in comparison to my parents. And I am currently working as a social media content planner and data analyst, very lengthy title, at Global Peace Women, and a similar role at Global Peace Foundation. Lots of global pieces. And I also like to listen to stories. I'm not much of a writer though. I'm more of a talker and a listener, but that's a little bit about me.
Thanks. Anu?
Hi everyone, this is Anulama, and as Shraddha said, I'm also a daughter, and yes, being a daughter is good. Sometimes I create very naughty situations for my parents when I was in school, but it's okay. I'm also a sister, so being in a family is good. And I'm from Nepal, so in Nepal we live with our parents, and it's normal. And There is a lot of importance given to families, and yes, and as Hanako and Shada said, I really love stories, and currently I'm working as a writer for Global Peace Women, and it has been really good reading about the family volunteer stories, and every stories of project leaders and the GPWLA graduates. It's really inspiring. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thank
too.
you.
We have a power circle here. Everyone likes stories. Everyone likes to share and listen to stories. So awesome. I think I neglected to mention I'm a daughter too. So fittingly, fittingly today, I wanted to kind of move in with the theme of daughter, right? Daughter looking at mom. So the two stories I picked are kind of that strain. One is of a younger woman talking of her mother, and then one is of an older woman talking of her mother, who's already a grandmother or great grandmother. So I think without further ado, let's look at the first story. I will share it.
She will always give me unconditional love. No matter how old I am. She always tells me the truth, even if I don't want to hear it. She gives the best advice, even when I think she's wrong. And always ends up being right. She always picks up the phone when I have no one else to talk to. That is my
Any initial reactions?
Well, I was really stuck on best advice, even when I'm wrong.
and, and it usually turns out to be right, right?
Yeah, because as teenagers, I think I had that in me that, oh, I have to be right. And even when I knew I was wrong, I would act as if I was right.
Right. Never admit mom was right.
Yes, I was reflecting on that. So those instances.
I thought the she picks up the phone when I have no one to talk to was super cute. When I was in college, right? Yeah, we had friends. There are those moments you just need a real connection. And yeah, it was back then it was payphones. So I'd have to go put the money in and then call my mom from the library. And she would just listen and say like, Mom, it's hard. Come home soon. Bring your laundry. Yeah.
You know, for me, I have never had the situation where I stayed far away from my mom. I did from my dad, but even for college, because I lived at home, she was always there. And during the beginning years of college, I was so like wow, new place, like freedom, friends everywhere, that I would come home and I wouldn't feel the privilege because I took it for granted. And then in the later years is when whenever I had like rocky relationships with like friends or something like that, my mom would always tell me like the truth no matter what. So like when I read that sentence, I like read it again and I was like, oh no, that's me too. So like no matter what kind of relationship she has with me, like she'll still love me because I'm her child. But at the same time, like she'll be the one to tell me the truth for like when what's right, what's wrong, or like what kind of perspectives I should take a look from and whatnot. that part, I reread the sentence. I was like, oh, this hits home.
Funny, my nieces asked me the other day, it was just a couple days ago, would you rather someone who always says nice things to you, or would you rather someone who told you the truth? And I was like, oh, that's a simple one. I would definitely want someone to tell me the truth, because the person who's telling me nice things all the time, they're lying to me, and I don't know if they really care about me. And then my son happened to be there, and he goes, you just said that so you could justify what you tell me all the time. Yeah, it's speaking from the mom's perspective, it's not always easy. Sometimes you have to weigh. Today, if I tell her or tell him, is it gonna hit home, or is it gonna like water the fire? Should I just hold off and tell him later?
You know, the scary part is when they are right and you realize that they're right. It's like, oh, I should have just listened to her at the beginning.
Yeah, right. It's kind of after the fact that you suffered a little bit.
Yeah.
Man.
Because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, I don't want to take her advice. Like, I know I'm right. But then eventually things just turn out the way she says it. And then I'm like, wow, it's like a really scary power. I don't know how. Maybe it's just a trait you get when you become a mom. Who knows?
There is definitely a third, which is sixth sense, a sixth sense. Probably like, because I don't know, I would say mom love. There's a gut feeling that you get every so often, like an intuition. I gotta check in on this. So I know I like scan my kids. It's not that but I have a sense, and I make sure that everything's okay. And if something's not, then I have to, okay, so get ready for the talk.
My mom used to scare me by saying she had eyes in the back of her head when I was little. So every time I would like go get something, a treat that I wasn't supposed to get, and she was near me, she would all of a sudden just randomly be like, I can see what you're doing. And I would turn around, but she wasn't even looking. And then when I would ask her, she's like, I have eyes in the back of my head. Like, okay.
Me too.
Always worked.
Yeah.
What are some of the what is it, the truths or the rightnesses that are right things that they've said that you didn't want to believe but eventually turned out to be true?
Oh, one example for me is one time when I was it wasn't an argument, but when I was kind of in like a disagreement with a friend, I would always like, because I've always been close to my mom, I would always tell her everything from like the beginning, like pre-drama to drama to post-drama. And so this one time she told me, why don't I just tell my friend directly like how I've been feeling about the whole situation instead of talking to other friends and hoping that they would talk to that direct friend for me. And so she told me, just tell the friend directly instead of waiting and hoping that someone else would. But my hope was that my friends who I've been sharing my feelings with would tell the person, but it never worked. And so because I got tired of waiting, I eventually told a friend, and we didn't completely resolve it, but I got to share my feelings directly. So I guess that was a plus point.
Usually the advice is the harder way, or what you perceive as the harder way, but probably the quicker, better way. You have one, Anu?
Not as in like something that turned out to be true, but I think one of the greatest advice that she gave me was like to be kind of honest, or maybe like to say whatever it is in your heart and just not hold it in, because if you keep it in your heart and hold it in, you'll just explode at some point, and it's not good when that happens. So just keep your heart clean and just say whatever it is. So I think that is one of the best pieces of advice I've had.
Oh,
And and I do try to follow it, and I think I have been doing that. So
do you have any like mom stories of when she was there for you? Oh, Shraddha, you already shared one, but like darkest moments, she was the only one to talk to.
Darkest moments?
Maybe not darkest. I shared my college one.
See. I don't have anything like that, but I do have one overall one where I realized like how much she's done, and like the realization just hit me all of a sudden after kind of experiencing like the things that she experienced. And that was mainly because in the last year, Hannah, you already know this, but in like the last 8 to 9 months, like I've had a lot of family things that come back to back. So in the beginning, it was family coming over, and then me being the one taking them out and taking care of them while my parents are working. And then right after that, it was my dad's back surgery. Got it mixed up. And so taking care of him. And then also my brother entering high school, and I'm the only one who went to like who had an education in America. And so I kind of knew what happened in high school, what didn't, and what he should be doing. Basically, I was acting like a parent to him. And then after that, it was also like festivals and more family coming over, and then more health issues. So the last year or so, it's just been me realizing like how much, I guess, time gets used up in like the smallest things. So like even going getting groceries, just commuting there, putting the energy there, and just doing all of those things is like it's very exhausting. And even though like I have the heart, like I know I want to do this for them, it still like takes up so much energy. And so I was imagining that, and then what hit me was the fact that my mom was doing it for not just one kid, but like 2 kids plus the rest of the like extended family members. And so like the amount of energy that she put into like making sure that we ate right, we did our homework, we went to bed on time, we showered, blah blah blah, all those types of things, small things that you wouldn't think mattered, but eventually ended up mattering because it was just like if I take a look at how I grew up and how I am as a person, oh my god, it's okay. Just like realizing all those things made me really happy, and like the way she raised me was very like it was one of those oh my god moments type of thing. And just in thinking about it, it makes me like sad because it's like I wish she had the opportunities that she missed out on, or things that she didn't get to do because of her kids or because of her family. And so thinking about it that way makes me sad, but then in the other way it makes me think, oh, like she must be happy to like raise a good family type of stuff. Almost choked there, Hannah, go because of you.
As a mom of 4, I'll tell you, you two are probably worth any experience. It's priceless. I have no regrets. There was a moment when number 4 was coming and I was like, oh, but then you came like, totally worth it. Excuse me. Anu, how about you?
for me, I think not anything specific comes into my mind, but I think my mom has been with me as long as I can remember. So she's always been there, so I cannot remember a specific time because she's always been there. Even when she's traveling and we don't meet for a month, she always calls in the evening every night. So she's always there.
I know something funny is that every time, like whenever I'm not at the house overnight, And mom always goes, after I come back, she's like, it was so lonely without you. And I'm like, but you have your other kid. He's loud enough. And she's like, yeah, but there's just another bit of silence that she knew was missing, and she still pointed it out. And I was like, okay. And same thing with the other one too. I'm loud enough for my mom, but every time my brother is away overnight, she's like, oh, it's so quiet.
Yeah. There's like a
Am I not enough
dynamic
for you?
that's missing, right? Certain level of energy disappears with when one's gone. Talks like this, I think, help realize that it's a lot of unseen work in how she decides to live for the sake of her children. But all the investment, like you said, Shraddha, the effort, the exhausting effort. No one counts how many hours you do laundry or how many pounds you lift, but it's an everyday thing. And I'm sure if it were calculated, come into the thousands, if not millions, over the lifetime of your children.
Well, and
But
don't
what's
forget about the part where they're constantly thinking about their children too, like in the back of their minds,
always,
which
always
is another addition.
Yeah, and it's for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life. Never far from mind, for the rest of our lives. So, but that's beautiful, right? It's something that grounds you. There's going to be someone in your life that will love you no matter what, forever. Then it's okay to go make some mistakes and try some adventure, because that's what breaks new ground.
Thank you for joining us for episode 1 of Our Family Stories, a podcast brought to you by Global Peace Women. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Make sure to subscribe to